The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. There was a wedding at Cana in Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Jesus and his disciples were also invited to the wedding. When the wine ran short, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "Woman, how does your concern affect me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servers, "Do whatever he tells you." Now there were 6 stone water jars, therefore Jewish ceremonial washings, each holding 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus told to them, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Draw some out now and take it to the head waiter." So they took it. And when the head waiter tasted the water that had become wine, without knowing where it came from, although the servers who had drawn the water knew, the head waiter called the bridegroom and said to him, "Everyone serves good wine first, and then when people have drunk freely, an inferior one, but you have kept the good wine until now." Jesus did this as the beginning of his signs at Cana in Galilee, and so revealed his glory, and his disciples began to believe in him. The Gospel of the Lord. My dear friends, one characteristic feature of wedding ceremonies is the abundance of food and wine. Wedding planners are always careful about drinks to keep the ceremony going. While some people may not like to eat food in a wedding ceremony, almost everyone would need a drink, even if it is water. In most weddings, someone is usually appointed to safeguard and manage the store where drinks are kept for the guests, and nobody gets into that store without permission. This caution significantly points to the need to have drinks flowing throughout the duration of the ceremony. In most places, the celebration continues until the last bottle is emptied. Today we begin the second Sunday in ordinary time of the year with the event at Cana in Galilee, where Jesus changed water into wine. This event is a continuation of the Epiphany of the Lord. If we understand Epiphany as God's manifestation of himself in the person of our Lord Jesus Christ, then the event at the wedding at Cana in Galilee becomes a continuation of the Epiphany which we saw also happening during the baptism of the Lord. Today, the miracle at Cana in Galilee was productive of divine manifestation. St. John confirmed this when he said, Jesus performed his first miracle in Cana in Galilee. He revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. As we reflect on this miracle today, I just want to point here just one point, that Jesus was invited. Sometimes we fail to invite Jesus, yet we expect him to do something new in our lives. The fact remains that Jesus can only save those who have invited him to come into their situations and circumstances. So the young couple in today's gospel invited Jesus into their home, and he worked his first miracle there. And they were never the same again. It's probably no coincidence that this first miracle of Jesus, turning water into wine, foreshadowed the final miracle, turning wine into his own blood. A little recognized fact about Jesus is how often he worked miracles in the people's homes. For example, when Peter first invited Jesus to his home, the first thing Jesus did was to cure Peter's mother-in-law. And when Jairus, the synagogue official, invited Jesus to his home, the first Jesus did was to restore life to Jairus' daughter who had just died. Neither Peter's family nor Jairus' family was ever the same again. Then there was a leading Pharisee. He invited Jesus to dinner one day, and one of the first things Jesus did was to cure a sick man at his house. And who can forget Zacchaeus, the cutthroat tax collector of Jericho? He also welcomed Jesus into his house one day. The two talked for a while, and Zacchaeus ended up giving half of his belongings to the poor and paying back those he cheated 4 times what he took. And finally, there is that moving episode at Emmaus on Easter night. 2 men invited Jesus to supper, although at the time they did not know it was Jesus. Jesus ended up celebrating with them the first Eucharist after the Last Supper. These are just a few examples of how people invited Jesus into their homes and were never the same again. These examples makes us ask ourselves today, have we ever consciously invited Jesus into our home in a practical way? Inviting Jesus into our home could be the most important thing we ever do. Once we invite Jesus into our home, we can expect something special. Jesus never visits a home without doing something special. This is one of the messages in today's gospel. It is a message we all need to hear. It is a message we all need to take to heart. It is a message that could change our family life together. So if we invite Jesus into your home, you are never the same again. Jesus himself made this promise to families in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 20, that says, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, then I will enter his house and dine with him and he with me. I conclude my homily with a story. A story is told of the wedding of a young couple in a certain village. Since the family of the bridegroom was very poor, in order to show their love, concern, and support, the villagers decided that each one of them would contribute a bottle of wine for the wedding. A large jar was kept for the purpose wherein each contributor was to pour into it his bottle of wine. Now the first man said to himself, "Everyone will be pouring in pure wine. What if I poured just a bottle of water